Welcome to Messier Mantra. I'm your host, Mike Messier. This is a show where I interview people that I find to be very interesting. And on this episode, we have a returning guest, ROSEMARY PACHECO. ROSEMARY, welcome back.
Thanks, Mike. It's good to be here.
And we had a great conversation on the last episode, and we left off in the middle of the mantra itself, Rosemary's mantra. Let's get right back into the mantra. What is your mantra?
My mantra is don't wait for it to come to you.
Yes.
Whatever you're doing. I think you should, if you're not finding things that you want to come to you, then make something happen in that realm.
Right.
You know, if you want to do a film but you're not getting parts, write a film and raise the money and make it. Who cares if it's a short? Do that first.
Yes.
You know, if you want to start a business, same thing. You want to be in a play, but you're frightened of stage, you know, like I am. I mean, you know, it's, so what? Get over it and do it.
Right, right.
I don't think you should wait until someone approaches you. You don't do that.
Right.
I don't do that. Some people have that fear of moving forward, and I think that if you don't find what you're looking for in life, I think you have to create it.
Yes.
And who knows? By creating that one thing, you may get the notice of other people.
Right.
And that's what we want, right? Oh, great. You know, you might have been noticed by a company who likes the product you are designing, or a producer might see your work in another film that you did a short and hire you for his film.
Correct.
You never know. I mean, you just don't know. I think I read a story once about Oprah being a newswoman in Atlanta.
Yes.
Did I read that? Well, she was a young girl.
I think she was Baltimore, but it could have been Atlanta in addition to.
Somebody saw her and
Right.
put her in a film that she, you know, was kind of a game changer.
Yes.
So, and I know she's a talk show host, but she's also done films, obviously.
Yes.
And
The
this
Color
was
Purple, or maybe before that, or
Yep. And The Color Purple, I think it was never acted before that.
Right.
And I think it was it Quincy?
Quincy Jones.
Was it Quincy Jones that saw her? Yeah, somebody saw her, but what he saw her on was a local talk show.
Right.
And he's like, "Who's that?" You know, and he just happened to be in the city where she worked, and flipped on the TV and saw her. Said, "Hey, how about her? Can she do some acting? Can we try her?"
Yes.
You know, and it just led to other things, obviously. But I am a firm believer in, if you wait, you may wait a long time.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that will say, well, I feel like I'm forcing things that way. No, you're not.
Right.
You're creating your own, whatever it is, whatever product or feature or film, whatever it is, creating it and putting it out into the world. If you don't put anything out into the world, people aren't just going to knock on your door.
Correct.
So you got to put your talents out there. You got to put what you're good at out there.
And what you said last time on our previous episode was great. You said that artist mentality or emotional content can have that push and pull.
Yeah.
I want to share my gifts, but now you're going to take them away from me. Now you're going to see who I am. Now you want to share, but you don't want to be exposed.
But you want to hide. Yeah. You want to, like, I want everyone to see this. I want everyone to see me.
Right.
Oh, but I don't want anyone to see me. I'm not ready for that.
Right.
I'm not good enough for that. I'm too shy. I'm not ready for that.
Right.
Yeah, we all go through that.
Right.
I think another thing that we go through in New England is, should I stay or should I go?
Right.
You know, do I want to stay in New England? Do I want to go to LA or New York? Well, you know, a lot of people have gone, and it's a tough gig. I myself would like to stay, but have that community here that is also working with these people from the West Coast. Right. As well. And I think there's enough talent here to do it. Yeah. I just think if they were more serious, I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying some folks. Understand. If they were more serious about putting their work out there and really bringing it to a top-notch level, yes, that we'd get a lot more stuff coming through here.
It's an interesting question. Does the proverbial big fish in the small pond move on to the ocean, which would, in this analogy, be LA or New York, or do you kind of try to build up that lake of yourself? And it's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it's different for every artist, every person. But I think what you said has a lot of relevance is the people that are serious need to be more serious, including myself.
Yeah,
you know, and I've
including
had
myself.
Right. I've had a lot of self, just to share for the Messier Mantra, you know, for my own self, I've had a lot of reflections recently. You know, like, hey, I started this project 5 years ago, got to a certain point, didn't get finished. Right. So then I said, well, you know what, I'll put this on hold and I'll start this second project. Got to a second point 2 or 3 years later, didn't quite finish.
Yeah.
Started this third one. The third one came and got finished.
Yeah.
Didn't get the distribution I wanted. And, and so this cycle, and I've been doing some introspection myself and saying, what needs to change in this template that is leading to a lack of success? Not failure, but a lack of success.
No, it's not. I don't think anything needs to change. I think, this is my feeling, that by doing these projects, I have a trust in the process. Okay. You know, it might sound mystical and all this, but I have a true trust in the universal process. I think when Mike or Rosemary or Maria or anybody is ready to, as they quote unquote say, hit the big time, they will. Right. I think things happen in pieces. It's very rarely does it happen overnight. People have that feeling about, like I was saying before, you know, celebrities and this and that. But those people actually had quite a bit of time when they weren't doing doing well. Not that they weren't doing well in their craft or business or project. Right. But they weren't doing. They quote unquote didn't have the big money or the big success. Okay. Yes. I think too, you have to ask yourself, why do I want this? Do I want, like I ask actors all the time, do you really want to act? Right. Or do you want the fame? Right. And a lot of them are very honest. Oh, I just want to be famous. I just want to date Renee Zellweger and then be that. Yeah, right. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then, all right. You know, you don't have to be good. You have to be. You have to be a package of sorts. Yes. Because generally, the people who are packaged well become big stars. Then there's the other group who have undeniable talent. They just can't deny it. It's just there. Right. And they just you be. That's the other end of it. I want to be so good that I cannot be ignored. Right. So there's that. Okay, that's good too. That's great. It's just, what are you? You need to decide. So if you, but again, I think things come, I think all that stuff comes before the moment because you're not ready. Right. I'm not ready. You do a small film, you get this hardship, you get this obstacle, you get this disappointment. You know, the other night I watched the movie Jobs. Oh, okay. Steve Jobs, played by Ashton Kutcher. I loved it. Yes. Now, Ashton did a fantastic portrayal of Steve Jobs. He really did. And I didn't know. Now, I didn't know that Mr. Jobs, after he started Five Guys in his garage, his Apple, all the crap after that, before the Macintosh ever came out, he was thrown out of his own company. Right. The shareholders, everybody voted him out. They were like, you're an obstacle in your own company. Right. He's like, I'm the founder of this company. Yes. I'm the innovation. Right. Well, he was. But you had other guys come in from companies like Pepsi and big payout guys who were going to change the world with this Apple company that Jobs started, and they ruined it. They lost money. They went into receivership. They, you know. Yeah. Luckily, people saw this and went back to Jobs and said, you know what, you need to come back. Right. This is not happening with these guys. You know? Right. And he did, but he, at that point, after all the, I mean, I never knew that. He went through so much stuff, and the haters, and the people who didn't want him to get far, and then the ones that took it in a totally different direction. Right. When he was trying to say, no, we don't need to rival IBM. We need to stay our own company.
Right.
That's what made us Apple.
Right.
You know, and so he was trying to explain that to a boardroom, and they just didn't get it.
They're short-sighted.
Yeah, very short-sighted. So that's part of learning, going through the crap.
Yeah.
You know, you think everything is so, and he just worked so hard, and I was like, just so hard at long hours for not a lot of stuff in return.
Right.
You know, and it worked out, but it's the same thing. I think you have to do things. You got to put yourself out there. You got to try, and then I think when you're ready, honestly, I think what's that cliche? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Correct.
I honestly believe that. I believe in the universal process of that. When this point is ready to be reached, you will reach it. It's not going to be on your time frame.
Right, right.
Well, it will be in your own personal time frame, but you cannot direct it to happen by, January 14th, 2018, I will be at this point.
I'll be accepting my Academy Award.
You might, but you might.
Right.
You might, but I think you've got to work as if you were.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And keep going. It may go 10 years past that. Who knows? I think you have to have a trust in yourself, too. A lot of people have a lot of doubt in themselves, and that puts them back.
Yes, you can waste time, days, months, years. That self-conflict of, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Right.
What's my mom going to say? What's my dad going to say? What's my sister going to... what will the neighbors think?
Yeah. I go through that. I mean, people are like, Mike, I've never fit into the... This is funny because we're having this conversation because it's like I just read this the other day. People who don't fit into the round peg in a round hole. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm the epitome of that. Okay. I mean, I've had 9-to-5 jobs. I've spent years at them. I wasn't really happy. I was a creative job, but not really. It was more on a committee, creative, and it really wasn't my thing. Did the best I could, did well with it, but people have to stay true and really believe in themselves. And you know what? That is not easy.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Because you've got people going, oh, you're an actor and you wrote a story. Oh, that's nice. Did you get paid for that?
Right.
Well, not yet, but, oh, okay. Shouldn't you be in L.A.? Well, shouldn't you be in Seekonk, Mass? It's like...
No offense to Seekonk.
No offense to Seekonk. We love Seekonk.
Right.
I just mean that, shouldn't you be somewhere other than here if you're going to do this thing?
Right.
Or they'll say, oh, well, what have you been in? I haven't seen anything,
Yeah.
So I think you really have to have like a rock of a soul.
Right.
I hate to say, I mean, it's the truth. You have to really believe in yourself because people, that's the sad part about it.
Right.
They don't give you a pat on the back, but then when you become...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Woodhaven and the whole Chad Verdi and his company doing very well.
Right.
Now everybody wants a piece of it.
Yes.
And that's great. But where are those folks who, like Tommy said to me one day, like, I don't see anybody knocking on my door going,
you need
hello,
a PA, you need an intern.
Can I sweep the floors?
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Make coffee and sweep the floors. And you know what? I said, you're right. There is no one doing that.
Yeah.
He said, no, I don't see it. They don't come to me. They don't come to us.
People want to get the easy favor.
Yeah, I think it's just like, oh, look at me, I'm cute. Put me in a film or something. But, that happens.
Sure.
I'll be the first to say that happens. But it's not the norm.
No, it's not. It's what's that expression when someone, like you were talking on the last episode, J.K. Simmons from the show Whiplash, from the movie Whiplash.
Yeah, the movie.
Won Best Supporting Actor. I mean, the overnight success, 35 years in the making. I mean,
right. That's
for
what
a guy
said.
Like that.
That's what he said. 40 years.
40 years.
He says, I've been going strong for. I've been doing this for a long time.
And here's part of it too, which is. We talk about the destination of winning that award or finishing that film or a short film, whatever the goal might be to finish. You do have to enjoy the ride also.
That's right.
And as artists, as the Steve Jobs person may not even allow themselves to enjoy the ride, but you have to really enjoy waking up in the morning and having your breakfast and going out for a walk and maybe working on your script for an hour or two and saying, hey, I did accomplish something, and what if I didn't accomplish? What if I just enjoyed what I was doing and took that hour of writing and threw it out the window?
Yeah.
Did I enjoy the process?
Yeah.
Right. Am I successful?
Am I successful too? Because what is success? Everyone has a different definition of it. Can I pay my mortgage on it? I don't know. Can you? Maybe in 5 years.
Right.
I don't know. But that's not everyone's definition of success. Some people say, hey, you know what? I got to a point where they might say, hey, I'm retired now. I worked, 30 years for this company. Now I can maybe sit back and write that screenplay I wanted to write when I was raising my kids and, trying to get through the corporate grind. Okay. Well, that is success. Maybe that man has made enough money to sit back and go, you know what? Now I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to sit in my study. I'm going to get up at 10 a.m. if I feel like it. Right. And write this thing until 2 in the afternoon. That's success. I mean, it all depends on what your vision is.
Well, I've met people who were involved in the local film industry as on this topic, and people that maybe had 30, 40 years in a business, got their retirement fund, get their, and then they say, you know what? I just like doing extra work. And they have no need
to go further.
Just to go further. And you know what? That's awesome. Because for them, being on a movie set and seeing a Denzel Washington, 50 yards away.
That's awesome for them.
Bumping into Steve Carell or, hey, that's exciting and that's great. And then there are other folks who want to be the writer, who want to be the lead actor.
They want to be the lead actor.
Right. So it takes all types.
Or the director.
They
want to put the vision through for that film,
Right. So.
Or then those that want to be both.
Those that want to be both. And for myself, it's a constant conflict with what am I capable of and what do I need help with and what is 5, 10 years down the road. Yep. But then that's for all of us, all of humanity, we're all in this tick, 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 which we don't know when it's coming, but the velvet curtain's coming for all of us.
Right. But I think you just said something really profound.
Okay.
You probably, if you back up a moment and say, I know what my strengths are, and I ask when I know what my weaknesses are too.
Right.
I know where I have to ask for help.
Yes.
I think that is a main success point for an entrepreneur.
Right.
They know. I'm not good at everything. I got to learn to delegate to who's good at this and who's good with numbers. Not me.
Right.
Okay, who is? Let's get them in here.
Yes.
Who's good with a creative concept and visionary? Oh, they are. Okay, bring them in. Bring those guys in. Okay. I mean, I think you have to really look at yourself and be honest with what you see. That's very important. Like Jobs. He says, that guy was a genius.
Right.
And could do basically anything. He was even a great businessman.
Yes.
But there were things he couldn't do.
Right.
As I'm watching the movie, how do I build a thing this small without a fan in it so this thing doesn't overheat?
Right.
Oh, well, guess what? You got to call. Oh, okay. I mean, if you have that vision about yourself, and you know where you're going, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Know your weaknesses even more.
Yeah, that's a great point. Know your weaknesses even more.
Know them even more.
Right.
Know who you can go to too.
Yeah. It's a tough world in general, and then I was going to say it's a tough business, meaning the entertainment business. And,
yes.
And you and I are both in it, and even in our microcosm, the bubble, as it might be referred to, my friend David Graziano calls it the bubble of New England.
Yeah.
There is and you brought it up, and I hope it's not going to be it's not controversial, but why is there begrudging groups? Kind of people with grudges towards each other, and maybe it's friendly competition, maybe it's not so friendly competition, but
do you mean they're not helpful to each other, or do you mean they're not supportive? Like when a filmmaker shows his film, other people don't show up to other directors or other filmmakers don't show up.
Yeah, we can go there a little bit without naming names, obviously. But there's what you would call cliques or factions or people that kind of have grudges, and I'm in that world myself, and I'll be honest, there are people that like me, don't like me, are indifferent towards me, don't know me, that don't like me, which is tough.
Same here, but you can't control that.
Yeah, and at some point,
and you never will.
Right, at some point you have to shrug your shoulders and say, you know what, hopefully I haven't offended anyone, and if I did, maybe they deserve to be offended. You know, like
yeah.
You know? But it's tough because in a small community of New England, which is a small gathering of 4 or 5 states, however many states it is,
right?
And then in smaller film circles, or even acting in general, why can't we all get along? Well, you can make a case for iron sharpens iron or type of thing, but
I don't know. I mean, I have had. I'll say this: I've had good experience with other actors and other writers where they've been real helpful in getting me like. Giving my name to someone or referring me or bringing me in on a project, and that was good, and that happens to me a lot. It's good, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
There are those who will forever see another person's good fortune or rise as something like a thorn in their side.
Right.
And that's because it's a fear.
Yeah.
That's nothing but insecurity. It's
right.
like, oh, okay, that should be happening to me.
Right.
I'm better than them. Okay,
right.
well, maybe so,
right.
but it's happening to them right now. So I think if you're that negative about someone else's success, I just don't think you're going to go that far.
Well, it's karma. I mean, if you believe in karma, like John Lennon, our buddy, like...
I just don't think you're going to go that far. I mean, how can that attitude help?
It doesn't help.
I don't think it would help.
And there's things, and it's a lot of, we could have to do 10 episodes with Rosemary today because we talk about things that you and I are both active on social media, on Facebook.
Absolutely.
We kind of bump in there. And I was talking with someone today, my friend, and I was saying, Facebook, wow. Yeah. I'm trying to kind of quantify that.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, I used to put a lot of, pseudo controversial jokes or try to rise people's attention and bring attention to myself. But I said, a friend of mine kind of took me aside and said, Mike, these little instigations that you're putting out there on Facebook, even if you're making fun of a celebrity, I kind of ripped on James Franco for his hosting of the Oscars. I thought he did a terrible job. I still do. But I made a lot of jokes about James Franco, horrible Oscar. Yeah. People really got offended because he's my favorite actor.
Yeah, sure. He's a big, but sure.
but the reality is, how is it going to help me to rip on James Franco, the actor, on Facebook? How is that going to help Mike Messier's career at all? It's not.
It's not.
Right.
Unless you become so good at it that Franco wants to meet you face to face and go like head to head with you, like, come on, Mike.
Right.
That has happened too. I've seen people write bad stuff about others, and then they actually make a career out of it. But that's a difference. That's when you really go far.
Well, that's the Perez Hilton or the Howard Stern types, someone like that.
The TMZ. It's the whole. That's the whole thing. And that's fine if that's the path you choose, but that's not your path.
No, it's not yours either.
No,
we're not here to instigate people, but
no.
But the point is with the social media, and it is a whole Pandora's box.
Sure it is.
It's a tool, but is it a tool that's becoming a weapon against ourselves? Like suddenly it's this
it can.
It's this horrible thing, but it's not a horrible thing. It's just the way people use it to vent or start little feuds with people.
It can be scary.
Yeah. And we've both been witness to some of this stuff.
I've been witness to some things that I just would like, I'd rather stay out of that. Yeah. But I mean, if I've seen some things happen, and I said, I'm just going to stay out of that. And not, but when I didn't, like 3-4 years ago, I didn't. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to get right in there with a voice. And sometimes I still got to hold myself back because I'm very vocal. And everyone knows that. I'm very vocal. It's hard to change your personality, but now I kind of choose what I'm saying.
Choose the battles?
Yes, and choose what I'm saying too, because people can twist and turn, and they just, I love having my voice on my page, my personal page.
Right.
But I decided to create like an actor page and, put that stuff over there and keep this here. People are still going to look at my personal page and say what they say, but I've had people dislike me they don't even know me. Right. And they're like, oh, well, she did this. No, I didn't.
Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? I didn't do any of that. But they don't know me, so I can't even they're just people making decisions based on something they saw about me and didn't like. You know, maybe I'm more showy than other people, and I probably am. I mean, I write a column, I do act in films, I do other things, I do lovely shows like this.
Right.
I collaborate with people like you and others, and maybe they don't, not everyone likes that.
No, they don't. They try to hinder those that are trying to do and doing. I
think I think that's I think it's a feeling of insecurity where, you know, I'm not, you know, people like that may say to themselves, geez, I'm not out there doing anything. Maybe I'll try to bring down those who are.
And that's what I was guilty with the James Franco thing to an extent, but I was also trying to be funny. But we got about 2 minutes left, and I just want to say, how do people get in touch with Rosemary Pacheco?
Oh, they can they can request me on Facebook, or you know, they can. You know, I'm not at that point where I have 6,000 friends where you can't get in touch with me.
You can pick up Motif magazine in the New England community, which is available at coffee houses.
I'm on Any Actor, you know, anyactor.com, on Twitter.
Yes.
That's under my my business name, Daniel Rose.
Okay.
Daniel Rose Silks. That's the name of it.
Yep.
I'm active on Twitter, but not as much as not as much as Facebook or. You know, I think that there comes a time where you have to, you know... Choose your battles on social media. What vice am I going to use?
Well,
you know, you don't want to spend all day on social media.
Right, it's tough.
People do.
We got about a minute left. So in this minute, do you have another mantra for us or anything you want to say to our...
Well, this is going to sound like a cliche, but you've got to believe in who you are. No matter why you're doing something, whether it's fame or whatever... Whether it's money, whether it's just because you want to do a good job, you got to believe in yourself doing it. I know that sounds like a hokey thing, but it's the truth. If you don't believe in it, don't do it.
Yes.
So you're not going to get anywhere. Believe in yourself enough so that others become excited about what you're doing.
Okay.
That's what I have to say, because if you're not excited about it, you sure as hell not going to excite other people.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And I think that's really important, because you've got to believe in your own product. Yourself.
Right.
Actually, your product is yourself. Your book, your movie, your game show, your talk show, your comic book. I know guys who do comic books.
Yes.
Big time. They believe in themselves. They have to. They wouldn't be going through all this if they didn't.
Well, Rosemary Pacheco, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Messier Mantra.
Thank you so much, Mike. It was great to be here.
Great to have you. Wish you the best with all your endeavors.
Thank you. You too.
This has been another great episode of the Messier Mantra. We want to thank our guest, Rosemary Pacheco, for being here with us. We want to thank you, the audience, of the Messier Mantra, for checking us out. And we'll see you next time.